Continuing with my current run of historic military watch reviews, today I've got the Laco Aachen 42mm Flieger watch with Type-B dial. Many reviewers regard this the best Flieger under $500, and I've discovered the Aachen you get today is even better than ever, with some welcome changes. I've lived with the watch for some time, so I can give informed feedback, and quickly discovered some remarkable standout traits. In fact, I've not wanted to take it off long enough to get on with making my review, but here we are. Laco are 100 years old in 2025, and if you didn't know, we're one of the 5 originally commissioned manufacturers of Beobachtungsuhren, that's observation watches, for the German Luftwaffe during World War II. They continue to offer a range of German-made pilot watches and sent me the Aachen watch for review, which they kindly say I can keep, so I've marked this video as sponsored. I'm going to start with the dial and handset because they're what really define a Flieger. It's got big Arabic numerals on the outer track with 24-hour markings going from 5 to 55. Complemented with a massive lozenge-shaped minutes hand, it gives an uncompromised reading of the minutes on the matte black dial. For the navigators of World War II, this was a critical component in establishing longitude. The inner part of the dial has hours 1 to 12. There's a pleasing and historically accurate big disparity between the size of the hour hand and the minute hand. Note how the hour hand just reaches but does not pass the radius of that inner circle so that it doesn't obscure the minutes Arabics. This layout is known as the Type-B. It was introduced in 1941 and is the most iconic configuration. Although a lightweight field watch would be more suitable, the Aachen's rugged utilitarian look compelled me to wear it on some outdoor pursuits. With its bigger time track being dedicated to the minutes, it means even a slow coach like me, who normally takes a moment to process the time, can instead get it straight away. This experience of instant time telling makes it difficult for me to want to go back to anything else now. Outside, I get good clarity through the flat sapphire crystal from all angles, albeit it's cloudy on this day. Surprisingly, after exposure to that gloomy sky, and after a 25-minute ride home under my jacket, the LOOM is incredibly bright. By far the most prominent characteristic of the watch, and something I don't normally care about, but can't ignore on the Laco, is its LOOM. Even in a fairly brightly lit room, the LOOM is alarmingly bright when you're not used to it. Even if I've not been outside yet today, I might have just walked past a window momentarily, and now the dial is having a party. Some kind of witchcraft I thought, but Laco explain it as Superluminova C3. I guess it works especially well when you have such big numerals and markings on the dial. So what is this model? The reference is 861690.2. Laco very modestly categorize it as one of their basic pilot's watches called the Aachen. This is the 42mm case variant. For me, its very identity hinges on this big dial look, so the thought of going smaller than 42mm feels like some unthinkable horological heist, but Laco does make a 39mm, which is proportionally scaled so that the dial still dominates, preserving the signature Flieger aesthetic. I would categorize this model series as their most contemporary offering for this style of historically accurate aviator watch. Their original range is even more faithful to, well, the original, the 1940s watches, with straight-out lugs and flamed blue hands. And the Aachen offers some ergonomic tweaks and cost savings. Firstly, the lugs are integrated into the case and curved downwards for comfort, and it still looks every bit as much a distinctive Flieger. It has 20mm lug width, and the case thickness is 11.75mm. The lug-to-lug measurement is 50mm. Although it's as big as, say, your average dive watch, unlike those, often with convex protruding casebacks, this has a completely flat caseback that also sits flush with those downward curved lugs. This means it's completely planted to my wrist for incredible comfort. Normally I want to take off a big watch after an hour or two, but I'm happy to wear the Laco all day, and I do. The Laco Aachen has really satin smooth brushing to the stainless steel case all round. We find horizontal brushing to the sides, a vertical brush in between the lugs, a radial brush here, and the brush follows the extended direction of the lugs on the face of the lugs. Other watches from the basic model series are available with bead blasted cases or with black PVD coating. The large 8mm crown completes the aesthetic, not quite Laco's typical diamond shape of the original model series, and not quite an onion crown, more of a half onion. Those would be easier to grab to pull out, but this suits the watch and is very grippy to turn. Push-pull as it should be, a screw-down crown has got no place on an aviator's watch like this because it would not be period correct. Oh, and here's how that flat sapphire performs in direct sunlight. Mine is without the cost option anti-reflective coating, and it performs really well without it. Before moving on to discuss the movement, I'll show you this yummy packaging. Inside the box you get a leather zip-up case. I think it's leather. We missed the sticker peel off because, as I mentioned, I lived with the watch before making the review. A leather tag with the model reference here. This is the 2-year warranty. And here we have operating instructions for the Laco 2S, which is based on the Miyota 82 SO. Accuracy is 0 to plus 25 seconds per day. Mine works well within this tolerance. A cost option upgrade is the Laco 31, which gives you ornamental cuts, blued screws, and 60-hour power reserve, whereas the 2S here has a 40-hour reserve. It has a Laco-signed skeletonized rotor, and importantly, the Laco models are now hackable, as I can demonstrate on my watch here if I pull the crown out. I watched some old reviews published about 6 years ago, and the watches they had were not hackable. Those reviews mentioned the 821A movement, not the present day Laco 2S. That's the 82 SO that you now get. So it seems like the movement has been upgraded over time. At least one of those same reviews suggested the movement is noisy, but nope, mine is very quiet. Hopefully my 2025 review better represents the Laco Aachen you can buy today. A quick comparison with my Hamilton and Tissot. If I shake each next to my ear, they're all equally quiet. Also, the time setting is a real pleasure to operate. It gives me an accurate feel when moving the hands, and when I press the crown in, it doesn't nudge my careful time setting out of place. Oh, another tiny change over the originally released Aachens I notice is it used to say 1925 underneath Laco on the dial, and now it's less cluttered with just Laco printed below the 12 o'clock hour. Being a bit of a geek, I would have enjoyed an all-metal caseback with the specs etched onto it, but the market is more likely inclined towards the appeal of showcasing the movement with this exhibition caseback. It's a push-fit caseback, and the watch offers 50 meters water resistance. Oh, the strap is super soft bovine leather, made in Germany. I believe the production follows an extensive multi-step process beyond what goes into a typical watch strap. In my opinion, the best made straps come from Germany, Italy or Austria. These edges have been hand-filled, sanded and painted. The look is complemented with these distinctive studs or rivets, which I think go all the way through except for the final leather comfort lining. The buckle end is a generous 80mm minus the signed buckle, and the tail end is 120, which is worth pointing out because so many manufacturers seem determined to supply increasingly shorter straps nowadays. On my 7-inch wrist, I wear this on the 3rd or 4th hole, with the buckle centered exactly as I like it. I don't know how they do all this for €340. I guess the benefit of 100 years heritage means they have existing well-established infrastructure and production methods. The Aachen has been my daily wear since I got it, so that should speak for itself. If you made it this far and enjoyed, please press like. Thanks.